February 13, 2 minutes past 15. Jiang Chen woke up from his sleep. It turned out he was in his classroom. He wondered what time it was, and he felt his legs go numb. When looking around, it turns out that there is no one in the classroom. He wondered where his classmates were. Is it time for gym class? Jiang Chen felt that he slept very well. Then he tried to go to the gym first. He was only 5 minutes late, so there was no need to rush. When he arrived in front of the library, Jiang Chen said that Zhao Peng didn't wake him up, but he felt it was okay and he would walk there. Jiang Chen recalled that yesterday he met Ting Ting in the library and felt that she was looking for something. But he didn't really care, he had to rush to class. But suddenly the cleaning machine stopped behind him. She was annoyed by the cleaning machine, but Jiang Chen had to go down there. Suddenly a school guard yelled at Jiang Chen. The man said, what was Jiang Chen doing? The man thought that Jiang Chen was late for class. He felt he had to teach Jiang Chen a lesson. You wouldn't know how good the security guards were. Jiang Chen looked scared and confused as to why the security guard was so angry when he was just late. The man also wanted to hit Jiang Chen with his security tool. Jiang Chen prepared to block the security guard's punch. Suddenly, the cleaning robot ran straight towards the security guard and crashed into him, thus making the security guard flee. But the man ordered him to stop and not move. Jiang Chen also said that he would not move. But the cleaning robot immediately took out a rope and tied the security guard. The cleaning robot immediately told Jiang Chen to run. Then Jiang Chen tried to run away from there. The security guards also do the school director's job. If you are late, you will be beaten. Jiang Chen ran until he entered a room and seemed to be going up the stairs. He also felt strange why the cleaning robot helped him to escape from the security guard. He also stopped because he was tired and wanted to rest for a while. She had to go to the library through the back door on the second floor. This was really inconvenient. Lately, more and more strange things were happening. Jiang Chen tried to walk slowly. The security guards were really scary. When passing a door, Jiang Chen accidentally pushed the door open because it was unlocked. It turned out that in the room there was an old computer on the table, which is connected to large enough tools. Jiang Chen was confused about what room it was. He felt a strange feeling again. He felt he had seen this in a dream. Or had he been here before? Jiang Chen entered the room and approached the old computer. He also tried to insert a flash drive. He felt this was the place where he could find the answers he had been looking for. The computer turned on, and the notification user, Jiang Chen. Jiang felt that this computer recognized him. But why doesn't it feel strange? He also wanted to see what was on the computer. It seemed like in 3 months he was the only user. Is it when the school anniversary no one uses this room? Jiang Chen also tried to expand his search to 55 years. Perhaps this was the maximum number of years possible for the search query. But other than the diary, there is nothing else. Jiang Chen felt like it was written in the middle of the war. And the date is also strange. June 13, 2171. Jiang Chen felt confused whether he was time traveling or this computer was time traveling. Jiang Chen felt the pain in his head appear again. It seemed to be because he was thinking too hard about time travel. This was really annoying. Had he forgotten something? He felt it was impossible. Jiang Chen tried to remember back when he was a baby, then to elementary school and then middle school until now. All his memories were very clear. That wasn't right, because his memory could be so clear. He could even remember the details of when his diaper was changed. But why did her intuition lead her here? Jiang Chen looked very confused. What exactly was he looking for? Strange things were happening more and more. Movie tickets, Yo Ting Ting, Alliance Day, cleaning robots, and everything. Suddenly, from outside the room, someone called out to Jiang Chen. He asked if Jiang Chen was inside. Jiang Chen looked very surprised. It sounded like someone he knew. But how could he know if Jiang Chen was in the room? And that voice was Yo Ting Ting's. What was she doing here? Because the class wasn't over yet. Every time Jiang Chen wanted to resolve this strange feeling, Yo Ting Ting would always appear by his side. Jiang Chen also felt that Yo Ting Ting was watching him. Was Yo Ting Ting a stalker? How could she be a stalker? She is very graceful and quiet. Jiang Chen continued to think. What should he do? Why did he have such a premonition? Jiang Chen also recalled when yesterday Ting Ting invited him to go to her house. From outside the room, Yo Ting Ting said, "You're not inside? Did I knock on the wrong door, or is it just a ghost?" Suddenly it became quiet. It seemed like Ting had left. Jiang Chen was relieved that Ting had left. Although there were many things that didn't make sense, it seems that she managed to dodge the bullet. What did she mean by that? Did he call her a ghost? Suddenly Jiang Chen's school was attacked by a group of inputs and shot up the school brutally. It turned out that the room Jiang Chen was in was hit, and the room got a very powerful explosion, making the room destroyed and made Jiang Chen nailed to the wall. It turns out that a lot of military planes came, and there were a lot of military troops carrying weapons. While holding his head, Jiang Chen thought what was really going on. Jiang Chen stood up and tried to look out. He was very surprised and could not believe that the military aircraft outside were NATO soldiers. He wondered if there was a war going on. Jiang Chen tried to get out of the room. He was confused about what kind of situation this was. I don't care about that nagging feeling. He must save his life. Jiang Chen opened the door and ran out of the room. In the school area somewhere there must be a bomb shelter. And according to the rules of war, they cannot kill civilians. Jiang Chen tried to find shelter. But when he left the building and wanted to find a safe place, the area was destroyed and burned quite badly. The NATO soldiers got off the plane. One of them said, "Prepare the bullets, the killing game starts now. This time we will kill the PHC mulattoes at once." Laughing, the NATO soldier said how lucky we met one, and he seems to be a student. The soldier told Jiang Chen to stop, and Jiang Chen asked what the soldier wanted to do. The soldier hit Jiang Chen with his gun and told him to be quiet. Jiang Chen fainted. When he woke up, he felt pain in his head, and he thought this group of bastards were too rude. When he looked around, he found that he was in the gym. They even arrested other students. Jiang Chen was confused. What were they doing? A student was so scared that he urinated in his pants. Then a soldier approached him, and he said to the student, "Ah, soul so naive. Dude, you're very angry, aren't you?" The soldier asked why the student was shaking. He wasn't going to eat it. What was the student afraid of? And the soldier told him not to be afraid. The soldier invited the student to play a game. And if he wins, then the soldier will let him go. The soldier pointed to the basketball hoop over there. He would count to 10. If the student could run all the way there, he wouldn't just let him go, but he could take one of his classmates with him. Laughing, the soldier said, "What do you think? Today, I'm in a good mood." The other soldiers just laughed at the student. And if the student is just silent, then he agrees to play the game. The soldier said the game starts now, and he started counting from number 1. But the student just kept quiet because he was so scared. The other soldiers laughed at him while telling the student to run and stand up. When the soldier mentioned the number 2, the student immediately tried to run towards the basketball hoop. But the soldier immediately shot the student, even though it was still not 10 seconds. Laughing, the soldier immediately put his gun back and said 10. The soldier said that he apologized because his math was not good enough. His other friends laughed very loudly because of the soldier's words. Jiang Chen was very scared. He felt that he would die soon. They are cruel, are they inhuman? Why did they kill innocent people? One of the students from them immediately shouted, and he said if he did not want to die. The soldier told him to cry and that he would shoot all the students. One of the soldiers said if he killed them again, it would be in vain. What if he gave them girls to cheer them up a bit? The other soldier agreed and said that's right. The girl in uniform is one of his favorites. The student was very scared. Crying, she said that she didn't want to be taken by the soldier. The soldier looked very angry and pointed his gun at the student. He felt that the student was really annoying. PAT blasters are this weak. When the soldier wanted to shoot the student, his friend immediately pushed him so the shot missed. The student said that the soldier was a monster. Why could he kill innocent people? The soldier immediately kicked the student, making him bounce back. The soldier said that the student didn't know when to stop. The student was lying down and bleeding quite a lot from his mouth and nose. The soldier immediately approached the student. The soldier said he was really brave and praised him. The soldier immediately sat on the man while holding a knife and asked where his good friend was. The student said that the soldier was a bastard. Sooner or later the soldier would die. Laughing, the soldiers said that they didn't plan to end him in battle. But now the student was going to die. Then the student shouted for Jiang Chen. He said he wanted to avenge himself on the soldier. Then the soldier killed the student with his knife. When he was done, the soldier said, "You finally shut up." Jiang Chen was terrified and couldn't believe that Zhao Peng had really been killed by the soldiers. He cried and asked Zhao Peng to wait for him. and he felt that the soldiers were really cruel. Then suddenly Jiang Chen released his power and made his eyes turn red. While crying, Jiang Chen was surprised why it was so quiet. And when he looked around, everyone stopped moving. It turns out that Jiang Chen accidentally activated the madness mode. So, let's finish this useless game until the end. The real Jiang Chen came out of the fake Jiang Chen's body. Those people caused chaos because of this. Jiang Chen opened the EP and asked it to display the current state. Insanity. Strength plus 20, agility plus 19, intelligence plus 17. Special effects, killing intent, using all 5 senses can detect the position of the heart. Jiang Chen finally figured out his trick, and he felt lucky to have this special ability. None of this was real. Otherwise, he might be trapped in this place forever. Jiang Chen asked the villain to stop hiding and told him to come out and talk. The villain came out and said that Jiang Chen was pretty good. He also asked how Jiang Chen realized it. Jiang Chen explained that it was because he had a very troublesome power, and fortunately the villain did not have a heart. It turns out that the villain is in the form of Yo Tingting. He said that his stat increased and could see the heart. According to him, this is a bug that is not harmonized. He also asked what was the last thing Jiang Chen remembered. Jiang Chen said that although he had a lot of guesses, he really never thought it was a game. And Jiang Chen called the villain Intel. The world now turned back time to a few minutes ago. Finally, Jiang Chen returned to the current world. The Intel said that the worm should be in here. Although this is risky, he must do it. Jiang Chen ran inside, but he immediately stopped. He was quite surprised when he entered a room. Jiang Chen asked if the one in front of him was Intel. He immediately prepared to shoot. The robot in front of him said, "Please do not make any violating movements. Approval of experiments in human language. Please do not make any sudden movements." Although Jiang Chen didn't believe Intel could threaten or escape from the experimental facility. But just in case, this laser weapon has a reaction time of 0.1 seconds. The interdimensional bracelet takes 2 to 3 seconds to use. And for the fuel cell to explode, it also takes 3 seconds. Jiang Chen couldn't move and he felt that this robot got it. He immediately put his weapon down and he asked the robot where the worm was. Didn't the Intel say that the worm threatened him? That's right, the worm threatened to use its corrosive secretion to melt the door. It was just like Jiang Chen's electric weld. Then, the Intel took care of it. But the good news is, the remaining part of the back seemed to be alive, so he decided to keep it in a hibernation tube. A woman was seen in a tube filled with green water. Jiang Chen also asked why Intel called it a worm. Wasn't it just a girl? Intel also explained that she was a human girl who turned into an incubator. The remains of the worm tissue are there. Jiang Chen also asked if the girl died. Intel also said that maybe for a while Intel only saved her. Jiang Chen looked very classy because this robot really had bad taste. He asked the robot to stop talking and just tell him what he wanted. The robot said quite confidently, "Humans who have limited existence always feel restless." Didn't Jiang Chen think about why he took off his power armor? And didn't Jiang Chen think about why he was led here? The robot asked him to forget his words and told Jiang Chen to go to the incubation tube. Jiang Chen didn't seem to want to go to the incubation tube. Who knew this program might deceive someone? But the robot told Jiang Chen to take his exam. Jiang Chen looked confused and said this is the exam the robot called. But now it's over. But according to the robot, it's still not over because he's been waiting for this for so long. Humans have stopped providing experimental subjects, and the data left to him is not enough to perfect the final evolution. The robot asked to thank the little worm, which found its way here, and naively wanted to take the lab's organic material to breed the strange fungus. He satisfied her, then let her parts run rampant. Of course, more experimental materials would make their way to the entrance. Take Jiang Chen for example. Jiang Chen didn't care about his experiments. His team was still fighting out there. He asked the robot to let him go. When he entered the hibernation tube, he took out his EP and made the fuel explode on its own. When the door closed, his neck ached. Then Jiang Chen lost consciousness. It now looks like this virtual room, and the program was in control. The robot also said that Jiang Chen didn't seem to have regained all his memories. So let him tell you about the current situation. The robot also said that Jiang Chen had already participated in one round of the exam. More precisely, there are many rounds. Jiang Chen panicked, wondering how long he had been here. And he also thought about Sun Joe, who was still waiting for him out there. The robot also said that this virtual reality program has a very slow perception of time compared to the real world. By that time, Jiang Chen's body had stopped functioning. At least he might have undergone a 10,000-year test. And the robot told him to take it easy. Even in this situation, the robot was still planning to continue this meaningless game. Laughing, the robot said why not. And he looked forward to his next appearance. Jiang Chen felt that this was not over. Next he would end it. But there was something Jiang Chen was very curious about. He was sure the memories implanted in the system were 100% true. In other words, the robot was holding the real desires of the owner of this appearance. So after experiencing all this, how could the robot still calmly respond to all this? With a quite annoyed face, Jiang Chen said, "Just you wait. It is currently June 11, 2171 in the summer." How could Jiang Chen not care? The robot implanted memories worth more than 10 years into him. But it's really because of this memory. The one where Jiang Chen entered madness mode due to Zhao Peng's death. But speaking of that, Jiang Chen now understood, plus 17 intelligence in madness mode was an IQ. Simply put, it was allowing the brain to break through the barrier and wake him up from the game. There, due to the time difference between the two worlds, although his body could at most enter insanity mode for a few seconds. In this place, the madness mode did not end at all. So let him summarize everything he knows first. First, Jiang Chen's goal was not to get a breakthrough security in the virtual world. From the first round of exams, he was not in full control. If he was, the robot would not have tried to stop him from exploring the second floor of the library. Since the robot was trying to stop Jiang Chen, the reading room must have contained clues. But last week, all Jiang Chen found were diaries. He couldn't rule out that he might find something else in the reading room. Otherwise, where else would that awkward feeling come from? And the two robots weren't just helping him, it seemed they were giving him information. After analyzing it, they would leave and face another direction without moving. Jiang Chen would see that. And it seems that what this intel says is a test. So what is the test? For the choices and emotions that make people have the same experience. If so, why does he need to know that? Jiang Chen also recalled the intel saying that the remaining data was not enough to help him evolve. But Jiang Chen didn't seem to understand what evolution meant. So it's like intel doesn't have much authority on this test. At best, it's a program created to make testing easier during the duration when there are no humans. So if this test was designed by humans, there must have been an event to complete it. However, every time Jiang Chen got close to the answer, intel would interrupt and repeat the experiment. Unfortunately, brainwashing is no longer effective. So let's start the real game. Then the robot said that today is June 11, 2171. The weather is sunny. Hope you have a nice day. First of all, Jiang Chen will return to the initial clue, the library. Jiang Chen also rushed to the library. There is no time. Who knows what Jiang Chen will meet Nanny? Then a cleaning robot was seen watching Jiang Chen. And Jiang Chen said, "Right too." Jiang Chen looked happy that this cleaning robot gave him the first clue. And he greeted the cleaning robot. Although Jiang Chen doesn't know who left this clue. But this cleaning robot is not a security that just stands idly by. Then Jiang Chen would place the built-in clue sign on his terminal. He thought this thing was really troublesome. Although the EP looks very ugly, but it's better than this thing. If it's from here, it should be from the southeast. Alright, the next stop is the library. The library was just ahead. Along the way, nothing can stop it. In this exam, there really is a neutral zone. That place is also unreachable by intel. So for Jiang Chen, home is considered a relatively safe area. And the library in front was a dangerous zone that the intel could control. They probably watched Jiang Chen's every move. The intel was just waiting for Jiang Chen to come in to take action. Suddenly, there was an object that hit Jiang Chen. When looking down, it turned out that the object was a cleaning robot. Jiang Chen looked happy to see the cleaning robot. He already remembered it, southwest direction. And he said that the cleaning robot's mission was complete. Then the cleaning robot left Jiang Chen. Finally, Jiang Chen arrived at the entrance to the library. But he felt that the library was different from last week. And there is an ad robot guarding the door. Jiang Chen felt that this time a lot of security was placed at the entrance. They were probably trying to stop him from reaching the second floor of the library. Previously, this 2-meter-high wall was troublesome, but now it was no longer a problem for Jiang Chen. and it was time to show his true abilities. Jiang Chen prepared to unleash his power. Then he used his strength to jump. Because his strength was so great, the road he used was badly damaged, and there was a large enough hole. Finally, Jiang Chen also managed to get through the big wall, and managed to land perfectly. Of course, the insanity mode power bonus recovered perfectly here. Game data is still based on reality. The danger alarm was sounded because there was an intruder. Jiang Chen was caught by the library guards, and they immediately ran to catch Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen looked panicked seeing the guards. They seemed to want to cut him. Jiang Chen also felt that the units at school were all security pawns. Jiang Chen also ran while laughing at the security guards. What a joke. With his current strength, would a group of ordinary people be able to catch him? Jiang Chen felt that the entrance was near and around here. He also looked panicked because suddenly the entrance was about to close. It was because the Intel activated the security procedure. Intel tried to forcefully close the objective, but Jiang Chen wouldn't let that happen. Finally, Jiang Chen managed to enter the door. He immediately rushed to the reading room on the second floor. Jiang Chen was slightly injured and it really hurt. He didn't expect that those here would actually assign pain. Jiang Chen suddenly entered such a stressful situation. To his stomach, it seemed a little too much. Suddenly someone shouted and told Jiang Chen to stop. He also said that Jiang Chen was a thief. Jiang Chen was confused, even though the door was closed. How could the guards get into the library building? There was a guard who managed to find Jiang Chen and told him to stop. Because of panic, Jiang Chen immediately entered a room and immediately locked the door. He felt a little lucky because he was almost caught. Jiang Chen also thought about how to get out of there. He didn't know how long this would hold them. Jiang Chen also tried to use the computer in the room. He also tried to find clues using the computer. Suddenly, a drawer in the desk opened. Jiang Chen was shocked to see the object in the drawer. It turned out that there was a gun. Jiang Chen was thinking what this means. Is this weapon given to him for self-defense? But according to him, weapons like this, it's too cruel. Jiang Chen also tried to check the ammunition. It turns out that the ammunition in the gun is full. Suddenly, there was a huge wind into the room Jiang Chen was in. It turned out that outside the room there was a war going on. Jiang Chen felt strange. Didn't the battle start tomorrow? Has the intel changed it? A loud noise was heard from outside the door. It seemed like the security guards were also trying to cause trouble and trying to get into the room where Jiang Chen was. Jiang Chen immediately picked up the gun and seemed to be thinking about something. Although this was just a game, if he didn't do something, he would be in a difficult position. If he entered a new week, maybe the preview information would be deleted. Finally, Jiang Chen had remembered something. He thought that his weapons couldn't compete with theirs, so there was only one solution this time. Jiang Chen immediately pointed the gun at his head. He wanted to see if his guess was right or not. He also said that he would take this risk. Jiang Chen immediately fired the gun. The sound of the shot was loud enough to be heard outside the room. And the game ended, but Jiang Chen couldn't get out and he had to enter the game again. He seemed really desperate. But the game must continue, so stay tuned for the next chapter. Jiang Chen finally woke up. It is now June 11, 2171. When he woke up, it turned out that he was in the arrangement house. It seemed like it was a new week. Of course, he shouldn't be dying to leave this game. Think again. If it's that easy, he just needs to jump outside. Jiang Chen thought why this gun came back with him. He also checked the ammunition of the gun. It turns out there are 16 bullets. Even the bullets became full again. It looks like the game file has been repeated as it happened to him. Lest Intel also play a role in this game. Then Jiang Chen kept the gun behind his shirt, because he couldn't go down that street. Next was the second clue. The location marked on the map last week. Then Jiang Chen went to that location. There is a robot that provides information. Today is June 11, 2171. Sunny weather, have a nice day. Jiang Chen looked relaxed there and he whistled. The lesson learned from last week was to take a different path, a place that will not be blocked by him. He also met the cleaning robot. Then he thanked the cleaning robot. Finally, Jiang Chen arrived at the train station. He had to say if this was life before the war. The top-level technology used is quite great. Jiang Chen also couldn't protest about the train frequency. He could take the train directly to the location on the map. Laughing, Jiang Chen wanted to see what Intel could do to stop him. This made him want to recite a poem. This illusion was not normal, artificial intelligence was also quite advanced. But since the Intel was against him, Jiang Chen would expose their conspiracy. Jiang Chen also looked at a map on the train. If based on the map the place he should go is the central hospital. Suddenly, there was an explosion from outside the train. Jiang Chen didn't know what happened. The people on the train were scared and they fell because the train was shaken quite badly. It turned out that the train Jiang Chen was on was attacked, and the train had left the tracks. Jiang Chen was in pain. It felt like his whole leg was torn off. The people there were screaming for help. The train fell down and caught fire. Jiang Chen tried to get out of the train. He was injured quite badly and looked very upset. He thought the traffic accident was too much. So this is how Intel plays out. If it wasn't for Jiang Chen's physical abilities, he might have redone the file. Jiang Chen also saw a woman. Was she a survivor? Although he knew everything here was an illusion. Actually, this part was still controlled by artificial intelligence. But it couldn't be completely. However, at least she lived in this world for a few decades. Jiang Chen also asked the woman if she was okay and if she needed help. When the woman turned her head, she looked like a zombie on the rampage. Then the woman immediately bit Jiang Chen. And the wound from the zombie one's bite was quite severe. Jiang Chen was very upset, because this damn Intel really didn't stop at one incident. As he looked around, the people there were being attacked by zombies. Jiang Chen understood this place simulated the events that happened in the world. Or this was an event that happened in the past. Looking around again, these zombies look like the ones in the future. But it looks like they've just changed. They still have human fat on their bodies. Those in the future are already dry corpses. This is just speculation. But is this invasion and war really happening? Then the female zombie attacked Jiang Chen again. Jiang Chen immediately hit the zombie until it bounced back. He was quite annoyed because the zombie tried to catch him from behind. Jiang Chen was bitten because he was a little off guard just now. But the zombie really tried a second time. With his body, he shouldn't be infected. The good thing was that this place was not so far from the hospital. Jiang Chen immediately continued his journey to the hospital, and he brought a baseball bat to use as a weapon. Jiang Chen finally arrived at the hospital, and the sound looks quite quiet. Then Jiang Chen tried to make a loud noise by hitting the baseball bat he was carrying. Then a horde of zombies immediately came out and ran towards him. Jiang Chen immediately attacked the zombies. This number was more terrifying than the zombies scattered on the ground. If it weren't for the genetic medicine above the insanity mode ability buff. In this state, his bones would have been chewed to bits. Even though Jiang Chen was reinforced, if he was attacked continuously, the bite sensation would spread throughout his body. Jiang Chen tried not to think of anything scary. There was no time to despair. He said he could do this. He immediately took the baseball bat and attacked the zombies. Isn't this just a normal hospital? There was no trigger event. Jiang Chen shouted in the hospital. He was trying to find if there were any survivors there. He now couldn't go back because outside the hospital there were tons of zombies. There was a woman who said, "Stupid people again." This was rare. It had been a long time since anyone had gotten to this place. Jiang Chen was chased by tons of zombies. He shouted for help because he thought there were too many zombies. This much meat wouldn't be enough for everyone. Jiang Chen immediately ran to the top floor to get away from the zombies who were chasing him. He looked very tired of running to avoid the zombies. He didn't even need to run around this much when he was in school. If he keeps running, he'll break the marathon record. How could this be a game? It was like playing with life. Jiang Chen continued running and directly entered a room. He had to keep fighting, no matter what, and he couldn't die here. Jiang Chen didn't know how long he could hold off the zombies. Then Jiang Chen immediately closed the door and blocked the door with a baseball bat so that the zombies could not open the door. Jiang Chen sat down and finally rested for a while. And suddenly the woman appeared in front of Jiang Chen. She asked why Jiang Chen ran to a place like this. Jiang Chen was surprised that there was suddenly a woman in front of him. The woman said she really had to commend his bravery. Although from the way he triggered the incident, Jiang Chen was really a coward. The woman also said that Jiang Chen's physique wasn't bad at all. But even though Jiang Chen was strong enough to dodge the zombie army and break through this virtual reality, it was useless. Jiang Chen felt that this girl looked familiar. He finally remembered that this woman was like the woman in the experiment tube. Looks like he didn't go to the wrong place. Jiang Chen asked if the woman was named Lin Ling. The woman said yes to Jiang Chen's question, and she was Lin Ling. Lin Ling also asked what if she was Lin Ling. Jiang Chen immediately tried to get closer to Lin Ling. Lin Ling immediately told Jiang Chen to stop. She doesn't want Jiang Chen to get close to her. She also said that Jiang Chen is a lowly life form. Jiang Chen looks very annoyed at being called a lowlife by her. He clenched his fist like he wanted to hit Lin Ling. Lin Ling manages to irritate Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen is furious now, and Lin Ling will suffer severe consequences for her actions. Lin Ling asked what Jiang Chen wanted to do to her. When Jiang Chen was about to speak, there was a loud noise. Jiang Chen was looking for what happened and where the sound came from. When he looked back, it turned out to be Intel who had broken down his door using a chainsaw. Intel looks very upset and says, "Why don't you two just die?" Then the Intel immediately turned on the chainsaw he was carrying. Suddenly Jiang Chen shot the Intel's head, which made him die immediately. Jiang Chen also said that the Intel was very noisy. Lin Ling asks Jiang Chen, "Isn't that girl his girlfriend? How could Jiang Chen shoot her?" Lin Ling felt that Jiang Chen was too much. Jiang Chen said Lin Ling should know the reason why Jiang Chen came to see her. He asks if Lin Ling wants to take this second bullet. Lin Ling says that Jiang Chen is really smart and brave. But this is virtual reality, even though Jiang Chen killed Lin Ling. Jiang Chen knew it was pointless. But Lin Ling can still feel the pain, right? Jiang Chen tells her that erasing her memory doesn't work anymore. Jiang Chen also gave Lin Ling two choices. She must help Jiang Chen get out of this place, or she will be killed in the cruelest way possible. Then Jiang Chen will kill himself and find her again. Doing this 10,000 times won't matter to her because this is a game after all. Lin Ling looked very frightened at Jiang Chen's words. Lin Ling immediately screamed and said no. She says that Jiang Chen is a demon, and he can rape her. Jiang Chen was just silent and looked annoyed at Lin Ling's words, because he never said anything about rape. Lin Ling burst into tears. She said that Jiang Chen was definitely after her, then enjoy her and defile her with his devilish smile. Jiang Chen was silent and speechless. He also felt that Lin Ling was a crazy person. She felt that Lin Ling was a crazy person, even though Jiang Chen was just acting a little violent to scare her. Jiang Chen held Lin Ling's hand. He said he wasn't kidding, and asked Lin Ling to tell him how to get out of here now. Crying, Lin Ling said that even if Jiang Chen got out, he wouldn't be able to win against the demon. She will force him back into the game. Jiang Chen says he has a plan. Lin Ling asked why Jiang Chen wanted to get out. Don't think Lin Ling doesn't know the state of the world now. While shouting, Lin Ling asked what's wrong with this place. Lin Ling immediately removed her hand from Jiang Chen's grip. Jiang Chen explained that there were many things wrong with this place. Don't tell me Lin Ling wants to be played by the program. Lin Ling also said that Jiang Chen asked her. Jiang Chen already knew, as long as the game started he was in the safe zone. If he didn't come out, he wouldn't trigger any events, and there was no choice. As long as he could redeem the memory hurdle, he could forever stay here. Jiang Chen asked if Lin Ling had been here the whole time. Lin Ling said it was true. As long as she didn't leave, she would continue to play the role of little patient. She will never trigger any events. Lin Ling asked to forget about the Intel sawing through the door, but if he didn't leave, the Intel definitely couldn't enter this room. This was predetermined and would not change. Lin Ling has no pity for Jiang Chen, a lowly life form. Even if Lin Ling died out there or jumped from here, she wouldn't accept the half-hearted goodwill of a lowly life form. Jiang Chen asked Lin Ling how many weeks. Lin Ling said, "Who can remember such a thing?" Jiang Chen turned around. Lin Ling wanted to know what Jiang Chen was thinking. If he didn't want to go out, why did he care about Jiang Chen? Then Jiang Chen sat down and sobered up against the wall. Although Jiang Chen doesn't know why Lin Ling was put in an experimental tube, like an experimental subject, but it was definitely a pre-war relic, so if Jiang Chen wasn't mistaken, Lin Ling had been in that experimental tube for 20 years. 20 years of in-game time is like 200,000 years or 2 billion years. Lin Ling has been in this small place the whole time. But Lin Ling didn't think it was anything strange. She repeated her memories all the time. So that's why Jiang Chen was an extremely annoying lowly life form. Jiang Chen can't even stand more than a few days. Now out there are ruins. The suburbs weren't bad, but the city center was like a huge nuclear reactor. He had never been to the coast, so he didn't know exactly. Lin Ling said it was a pity. That's why she said that Jiang Chen should stay here. Then Jiang Chen said, even so, people are trying hard to stay alive. Even though the elites threw away their responsibility to fly the spaceship to the stars. Even though all that was left after the war was a ruined world. No one gave up, and isn't that right? Lin Ling asked why Jiang Chen was telling her all that. What the Jiang Chen wanted to say was that Lin Ling didn't want to go out to see the world. Lin Ling immediately fell silent, and she immediately thought about how the outside world is now. But she thought it was impossible to get out of here, because the security here was very strong. Finally, Jiang Chen managed to get Lin Ling to be honest with her feelings if she really wanted to get out of here. Jiang Chen said that nothing is impossible. He will handle it, and he asks Lin Ling to trust him. Fear is still stronger than hope. Then, Lin Ling said in the hospital garage, parking lot 005, next to the fire alarm. It was the entrance to the refugee shelter 005. It was also the overall game control room. Jiang Chen looked very happy to get information from Lin Ling, and he also promised to get Lin Ling out of this place. But Jiang Chen didn't have much time left. Security could not force a repeat of the game on the first day of each turn. But starting from the second day, many requirements would be open. So it would be able to repeat the game as soon as possible. Jiang Chen also looked very panicked, because when he looked at the clock it turned out that there were only 5 minutes left. Jiang Chen immediately ran from the room and said why Lin Ling didn't say earlier. Is it really okay to just depend on Jiang Chen? However, Lin Ling really wanted to see the outside world. Jiang Chen immediately picked up the chainsaw, and it seemed like this was all that could be done. Lin Ling asks why Jiang Chen came back and what he's going to do. She looked very scared because she felt that Jiang Chen would hurt her. She yells, "Don't kill me." It turned out that Jiang Chen wanted to jump out of the window behind Lin Ling. Lin Ling was shocked why Jiang Chen would jump out of the building when they were on the 3rd floor. She wondered if Jiang Chen was really human. Jiang Chen said, "Accept your death. Brother Chen must make a way. Get away from me." Jiang Chen finally got in a car. Now shows 11 o'clock 56 seconds. Jiang Chen immediately attacked the zombies using a chainsaw because he didn't have much time to take care of the zombies. There were only 2 minutes left. But Jiang Chen couldn't let him replay the game. Jiang Chen beat the zombies with all his might. At 12 o'clock at night, Jiang Chen made it to room 005. And he found the button, and he broke the alarm glass. Jiang Chen was very tired of fighting the zombies. Jiang Chen immediately pressed the alarm button. Because he was so tired he tried to catch his breath. Because he didn't know what would appear next. The big wall in front of Jiang Chen turned out to be a door. Then the door opened. Jiang Chen was confused. What is this? This should be the entrance to the control room that Lin Ling was talking about. Don't tell Jiang Chen to fight the AI now. Jiang Chen didn't care because he was already here and he couldn't give up. He also said that the intel must be panicking. It seems like the intel also has its own self-awareness. Jiang Chen asked the intel to wait because the good part would come soon. He also wanted to see what other tricks the intel had. Then Jiang Chen went in there. Jiang Chen saw a very bright light in front of him. His consciousness slowly disappeared with the light. There was a man who said that his guest had arrived. It seemed that the man would not be able to enjoy this meal. The man immediately greeted Jiang Chen. He said that Jiang Chen must have gone through a lot to get to this place. He said that this was the control room for the entire test game. Jiang Chen was amazed that his wounds were gone. Even his clothes were like new. But compared to that, this man looked very familiar. Jiang Chen recalled the previous incident. That iconic little beard looked like it belonged to the security guard back then. The difference between before and after was too great. Jiang Chen almost didn't recognize him. Since he appeared here, it seemed like he was very concerned with the game. By combining all the clues from the previous one, Jiang Chen also guessed that the man was Lieutenant John. And it turns out that Jiang Chen's guess was right. The man was indeed Lieutenant John. Lieutenant John also said that since Jiang Chen already knew his name, he must have seen Lieutenant John's journal. Jiang Chen also said that not only the journal, but they met at the gymnasium. They killed Jiang Chen's classmate, who was with him every day and night. At that time, Jiang Chen just never made the connection with Lieutenant John and his journal. But since Lieutenant John appeared here, the journal is Lieutenant John's endless regret, and it appears as an important role in the game. So the answer is obvious. Jiang Chen also asked Lieutenant John what he had to do with this game. Lieutenant John explained that everything here was created from part of his memory. And as the next subject, the hibernation room that Jiang Chen uses is his. And it looks like his real body is dead. Jiang Chen also said that he had an impression about it before he was forced to participate in the game. And Jiang Chen just found out about Lieutenant John's current state. They backed up all the data from Lieutenant John's brain onto a hard drive. So now, he could be considered a kind of low-level artificial intelligence. With an expression like that, Jiang Chen already thought Lieutenant John would say that he was a fairly high-level artificial intelligence. Lieutenant John asked Jiang Chen not to think this was strange. He was just a basic artificial intelligence. He would answer according to John's logic. Everything Jiang Chen sees here is based on John's chart, taking into account the most appropriate expression to convey, including how he sees and understands Jiang Chen's expressions. Everything was taken into account. In the end, human nature will always be slightly different from the data. It was impossible to make this difference through calculation. Jiang Chen didn't seem to understand Lieutenant John's words. Did he give the feeling of a living human being? Lieutenant John also wanted to give an example to Jiang Chen. He had also been injected with genetic medicine, and he himself broke through the subject's memory barrier. But then he realized, escape from brainwashing depends not on brain activity but emotion, something that machines could never do. These are all things that Jiang Chen has experienced over the past few weeks. There might be things that Jiang Chen remembered, and things that Jiang Chen had forgotten. Jiang Chen began to understand a little of what Lieutenant John was saying. That meant that before Jiang Chen broke through the memory barrier, he had already experienced that many weeks. And there was even a happy ending where Jiang Chen managed to escape. In this one, she found out that the male lead had changed her heart, so she cut him up with a chainsaw in her house. Eventually, Jiang Chen found out where the saw came from. As Lieutenant John said, all of these events came from his memory section. It's just that each male subject's consciousness is centered on the girl they like. Then through repeated reenactments, anger, regret, reluctance, etc., a complex set of emotions has been collected. It is ridiculous, as an appraiser, to experience the pain of seeing his beloved killed again and again. Perhaps this was Lieutenant John's punishment. Jiang Chen also remembered Lieutenant John's confession in his journal that Jiang Chen read. But if confession is any good, then what good is the law? Jiang Chen just realized it turned out that his point of view was almost averted again. Jiang Chen brought his role hatred to this officer without realizing it. This obviously had nothing to do with him. The cultivation of this memory is really amazing. Then Lieutenant John also gave Jiang Chen the exit. Lieutenant John asks Jiang Chen if he wants to leave. Or do you want to spend a little bit of your life in a life that is rich in survival? Jiang Chen said, do you still need to ask? Jiang Chen turned around and left the place. Lieutenant John apologized to Jiang Chen because he couldn't take him any further. Then Jiang Chen opened a door. He says that Intel has wasted a lot of time and will come to beat him up. Intel said, why fight? Look how big and round this bowl is, meeting for a toast. Look how thick and long the noodles are. Of course, the music created by humans is much more interesting. Suddenly the tube with the number 017 opened. Intel looked shocked. Was it that horrible person just now? 5 seconds after he woke up, Intel felt that Jiang Chen was indeed a troublesome experimental subject. He also asked Jiang Chen to lie back down, otherwise he would shoot him. But Jiang Chen didn't listen to Intel. He was holding a fairly large tube that looked like a bomb. And it was true that what he was carrying was a bomb. And Jiang Chen immediately activated the bomb. Jiang Chen said, don't mess with him. Babbling garbage robots like Intel are the most annoying. Intel asked Jiang Chen to stop his behavior and called Jiang Chen crazy. That's right, Jiang Chen is crazy. As the famous philosopher said, crazy men are never confused because they can see their own future. Crazy men are also very confused because they don't know which future is good, or confused about which future there is another future. So see you later. Then Jiang Chen threw the bomb, and he immediately left the place using his teleportation power. Intel was confused about what Jiang Chen meant by the future, and he didn't know where Jiang Chen had gone. He also asked Jiang Chen to come back and answered his questions about the future. Then the bomb immediately exploded with great force. Jiang Chen finally arrived at his room in the present world. He felt very tired, but he was very happy because now he had his own villa, and it was really great. He felt that this villa was fit for a king. When the opportunity arose, Jiang Chen should thank Xia for helping him choose this villa. Since Jiang Chen bought it, he still hasn't been able to look around. This was nice, he wouldn't get lost in his own home. When he looked into the bathroom, it turned out that Aisha was taking a bath and Jiang Chen looked shy because he knew Aisha was taking a bath. Jiang Chen also looked at his watch and it was still noon. The scale of the explosion might flare up temporarily. Jiang Chen also thought of Aisha, who was bathing and seemed to want to do something. Then Jiang Chen entered the bathroom and Aisha was surprised because Jiang Chen suddenly entered the bathroom. Finally, Jiang Chen came out of the bathroom. He still had to go take care of something and asked Aisha to take care of herself at home. It was hard to accept that Jiang Chen was a little insulted by the virtual reality program. It was time he had to go back to see if the Dan Ai was dead yet. 30 minutes later in the future, the Pan-Asian Cooperation (PAC) laboratory was underground. The room was destroyed very badly and there were still flames there. Jiang Chen laughed at the power of his bomb, but it was still nowhere near what he had envisioned. Then Jiang Chen pointed the gun at the Intel. It was quite annoying that he couldn't get rid of it right away. Intel wanted to know how Jiang Chen could disappear. He said there was no point in destroying the camera. The data was stored on the machine over there. Can Jiang Chen solve Intel's confusion? Jiang Chen said that he had a special ability that could make him temporarily disappear from this room. Then Jiang Chen said it was time to say goodbye to Intel, but Intel asked Jiang Chen to wait a moment. Then he played the Yao Ting Ting video. Jiang Chen seemed annoyed the memories implanted from virtual reality could affect reality. Intel said if Jiang Chen destroyed it, everything there would be lost. His parents, his classmates, and even the girl Yao Tinging. But Jiang Chen said that those were not his memories. From the beginning, it was just virtual. It's okay if they disappear. Intel also said that entering the virtual world is a human dream. Jiang Chen also asked if he was made a representative again. 20 years of research, data that is matched with 3,000 human lives, will just disappear. A little more, and it will be advanced artificial intelligence. Jiang Chen also asked if he told Intel to kill humans. During the explosion, it must have been a small circuit, revealing its own dark history. Jiang Chen had something to ask Intel. Does Intel like Lao Ganma hot sauce? Intel only relied on the reactor in the laboratory to get energy, although he could try to simulate human data similar to appetite. But the ones he had without exception failed. So frankly speaking, he had no interest in human food. Jiang Chen also asked, so why should he like artificial intelligence and feel that artificial intelligence is important? Intel was silent and couldn't answer Jiang Chen's question. Jiang Chen never thought about how advanced technology was. Nor is there any disengagement between cultures, ethics, or material progress. Even if in the future, humans decide to tidy up artificial intelligence again, who cares? Such advanced technology will become a tumor in cultural support. And what does that have to do with Jiang Chen? He only knew that Intel locked him up in a virtual world and tortured him for days. Intel let the very person who was Jiang Chen die in front of him. And for that reason, isn't it enough to get Intel reformatted? Intel can't say that Jiang Chen really doesn't care about artificial intelligence. Because Jiang Chen has already thought about this, Intel can't see him as arrogant or stupid. His thinking is more unique. The main system also couldn't understand Jiang Chen's views. Even if his physical body was destroyed, would Jiang Chen accept that? According to Jiang Chen, even humans couldn't be understood, let alone him. He didn't think that far ahead. Intel had one last question for Jiang Chen. Does Jiang Chen think Intel has emotions? Machines are machines. From the beginning, their only thought is the goal. Now that Intel is about to disappear, does he have any regrets? Intel said maybe a little. Jiang Chen then said goodbye for now. Intel thanked Jiang Chen and said goodbye to him. Jiang Chen saw a tool that was there. It should be this one. 2 large aluminothermic liquid tubes. He had already decided on the processor. He would take it to Yaudio to check. It should still be useful. Then Jiang Chen blew up the device. and the device caught fire. While smoking a cigarette, Jiang Chen began to think. Maybe his fantasy trip was over. Yu Ting Ting, Zhao Peng and all. Even though they were part of someone else's memory. Just thinking about them, there was still a sense of reality and the present. Following the destruction of the device, it seemed that those memories were starting to fade. The truth was that they had probably disappeared a long time ago. But for him, it had just happened. Jiang Chen also felt, when did he become so melodramatic? It was only a matter of time for him to figure it out. Some Zhao, wait a little longer. When he's settled things here, he'll be there soon. Jiang Chen stopped in front of Lin Ling's experimental tube. Jiang Chen was pretty sure that Lin Ling was very important. This protective tube was stronger than the laboratory. The question was how to open this tube. Jiang Chen also saw something. It should be the control panel for this tube. But there are many buttons, how to use them. Jiang Chen was confused and he immediately pressed all the buttons there carelessly. It turned out that Jiang Chen managed to open the experimental tube, and the water in the tube began to fall out of the tube. Jiang Chen felt he was very tired, but he laughed when he saw Lin Ling. Needless to say, this woman's composure factor was quite high. Of course, that was before her mouth started talking again. Then Jiang Chen grabbed some clothes for Lin Ling from his inventory. Lin Ling woke up, and she immediately vomited. Jiang Chen was disgusted to see Lin Ling vomit so much. He wondered if it was nutritional fluid. After she finished vomiting, Lin Ling finally woke up and was surprised to see Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen told her not to be afraid. But Lin Ling immediately screamed and asked Jiang Chen not to come near her. And she called Jiang Chen a low-life form. Jiang Chen was very upset to be called like that by Lin Ling. Jiang Chen clenched his fist like he wanted to hit Lin Ling. He also said, did Lin Ling's mother ever teach him how to treat a savior? This woman really used to say that. Trembling, Lin Ling said she gave Jiang Chen a hint, and Jiang Chen took it out, but it wasn't a normal exchange. Her temper was still sharp, but her shoulders were shaking. Jiang Chen asked Lin Ling to think about it carefully. Did they make such an agreement? Lin Ling tried to recall what happened in the virtual reality game. But she immediately shouted and said, isn't it obvious? Does it really need to be said? Jiang Chen asked if Lin Ling didn't understand the rules in the desert. Lin Ling looked confused about the rules Jiang Chen was referring to. The artificial intelligence had been destroyed, the cultivation bacteria had also been destroyed. The battle above them must have ended. Since Jiang Chen still had time, he would give Lin Ling this urging. Jiang Chen said if he saved her, Lin Ling must follow his rules. Because Lin Ling is Jiang Chen's slave. Lin Ling looks scared of Jiang Chen's words and can't believe that she's Jiang Chen's slave. Lin Ling then yelled back at Jiang Chen with harsh words. Jiang Chen felt that Lin Ling was suffering from paranoia. He immediately threw clothes at Lin Ling. Lin Ling was shocked that Jiang Chen gave her clothes. Jiang Chen said that being his slave had many rules. For example, Lin Ling had to learn proper etiquette. When she was rescued, she had to say thank you. Lin Ling immediately thanked Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen told Lin Ling to wear the clothes and that she wasn't the same as in the virtual world. Jiang Chen felt that Lin Ling was very temperamental. If he kicked her out, she would be eaten by zombies until there were no bones left. Lin Ling put on the clothes that Jiang Chen gave her, and she asked about X-71,291. Jiang Chen replied that he was dead. Lin Ling was shocked and said that Jiang Chen was crazy. Intel is an artificial intelligence with more than 20 years of crystal research. Jiang Chen said, and that was in exchange for 3,000 lives, right? From the beginning, it should never have existed. He also showed the processor to Lin Ling. Because the processor had little use, so he kept it. Suddenly, Lin Ling started crying and Jiang Chen wondered why Lin Ling was crying again. Jiang Chen felt that Lin Ling was quite attractive. Don't tell me Lin Ling was tortured to build up feelings of love. Still thinking about that freak. Should Jiang Chen put Lin Ling in a necklace, or continue to torture her slave? Lin Ling was scared by Jiang Chen's words and stopped crying. Jiang Chen also said that if the intel had been destroyed, even if Lin Ling babbled on, he had no way to restore it. He immediately asked Lin Ling to get out of there. Lin Ling just remembered that she had to get out of that place. She asked if the rescue ship had left yet. Her father was on the ship, he must be waiting for her. She had to hurry to the Juquan launching center. If Jiang Chen takes her there, She'll ask her father to think of a way to get Jiang Chen a ticket. How's that? Isn't this deal worth it? The boy must have slept alone in the two. Jiang Chen said whether Lin Ling was really crazy or pretending. Doesn't Lin Ling know what year it is? With a confused face, Lin Ling asked what year it was. It's around mid-September 2190. If Lin Ling is talking about the 6 rescue ships launched by the unitary state, they were successfully launched in 2176. Lin Ling was very surprised to hear Jiang Chen's words. She immediately sat down and felt that none of this was possible. Jiang Chen explained that nothing was impossible. The elites Lin Ling was talking about had left Earth and gone to destroy other planets. Lin Ling cried again, feeling sad that her father had left her. Jiang Chen tapped his forehead, confused by Lin Ling's behavior. Enough of this woman's tears. Then Jiang Chen sat down in front of Lin Ling. He was going to give her some advice. Jiang Chen asked if he could trouble her. As he said before, even though the people left behind had not given up and continued to live on this earth. But the level of technology was already completely backward. Since Lin Ling was of elite descent, it was a coincidence that she was left behind on her own mother's planet. So why didn't she help the people from the desert who couldn't leave? Thinking of another point of view, with Lin Ling staying here was really their future hope. After all, now Lin Ling is Jiang Chen's guru. She has already humbled herself, she can't afford not to trust her. Jiang Chen also said that she was a lowly life form. He even admits that he's a low life. Jiang Chen just smiled. Finally, Lin Ling will help Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen was relieved that it was finally resolved. He really didn't know who was a slave. He extended his hand to Lin Ling. Jiang Chen was confused what Lin Ling was really thinking. He asked Lin Ling to extend her hand. Jiang Chen felt it was embarrassing that he had to extend his hand. Jiang Chen asked why Lin Ling kept saying lowly life forms. Did they have a difference? Lin Ling explained that she was a cyborg. Her brain has been upgraded by 20%, and her brain capacity is 12 times greater than Jiang Chen's. She herself is afraid of the knowledge stored in her brain. She asked Jiang Chen if he knew what that meant. Jiang Chen says it means Lin Ling is still this slave. Lin Ling suddenly stopped and Jiang Chen asked if she was okay. Then Lin Ling's eyes turned very red. Lin Ling was confused about what happened to her. Jiang Chen was shocked and immediately pointed a gun at Lin Ling. Just now he remembered that the brood brain, or whatever it was still inside Lin Ling's body. No way, she had just faced an AI, and now she had to fight this brood bacteria. Lin Ling just fell silent and looked at Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen asked what she was doing. Is she using an ability to analyze it? She hadn't attacked yet, so Jiang Chen had to attack her first. But in a situation where he doesn't know whether he's an enemy or a friend, it's a bad move. But if Jiang Chen didn't shoot her, this brood was controlling the zombies. Lin Ling came forward and approached Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen asks what Lin Ling is doing. Why is she pointing at his gun? It turns out that Lin Ling licked Jiang Chen's weapon. Jiang Chen couldn't believe what he was seeing. Although he didn't want to, but this action was like. He's not someone who loses control easily. Suddenly, Lin Ling regained consciousness and her eyes were no longer red and returned to normal. Jiang Chen felt that she was back to normal. Lin Ling immediately retreated in fear. She asked Jiang Chen not to kill her and she would become his slave. She also allowed Jiang Chen to do whatever he wanted. Because in the game Jiang Chen already has that intention, so Lin Ling will obey him. Jiang Chen seemed to be tired of Lin Ling's behavior. He also asked Lin Ling to stop because he wanted to ask Lin Ling something and asked to answer honestly. Jiang Chen asked if the mother worm was inside Lin Ling's body. Lin Ling nodded and said that it was true. But it's only in her brain. Jiang Chen asked if there was a difference. Lin Ling said that the mother worm could not produce X2 bacteria. Then, Lin Ling was confused about what else to explain. Jiang Chen explained that he and his team came here not to face AI, but to destroy the worm mother. Lin Ling was crying again. Jiang Chen asked to stop crying, and he asked where the mother worm was. Lin Ling explained that it was in her heart. It reached the surface of her heart's performance, and seemed to penetrate the spinal cord. Jiang Chen thought, if Lin Ling is a cyborg, she can't replace her heart. Lin Ling just screamed that she was going to die. Jiang Chen thought that was problematic. Lin Ling said she didn't have to kill him. Jiang Chen felt that this little girl couldn't be lying. It didn't pose a threat, only her brain was left. Jiang Chen felt like Lin Ling really liked him. When did her charm exceed the limits of the species? Lin Ling said when Jiang Chen approached her, her heart skipped a beat. It's just a racing heart, nothing more. He is also an intelligent creature, and he is also just forced intel to enter the game. Her role was Yo Ting Ting. Of course, that was before she was taken over by X71291. Jiang Chen thought that memory would also disappear with the system, but he really still remembered it. Lin Ling said what if Jiang Chen just let her go? He probably wouldn't hurt her. Jiang Chen just sighed because there was no point in elaborating. But speaking of which, what type of bacteria is X2? He always felt that the zombies that crazed the 6th Street had some kind of movement. Then Jiang Chen asked Lin Ling about what the X2 bacteria actually was. Lin Ling looked very happy. Does that mean Jiang Chen allows it? Don't worry, she's not angsty. Especially since Lin Ling is in control of her own body. Jiang Chen was annoyed that instead of explaining about the X2 bacteria, Lin Ling was talking about something unimportant. Lin Ling then explains that the X2 bacteria has similar characteristics to the original radiation-cleaning bacteria. Genetic analysis showed it was a modified version. X2 has a stronger parasitic infection rate. It also seems to have a new function. Jiang Chen asked what the new function meant. For example, it increases the zombies' energy and controls their movements. That's why Lin Ling mentioned X2. So the zombies went crazy because of it. On the other hand, in the fall of 2174, due to uncontrollable factors in the research of radiation-cleaning bacteria, the World Union of Nations announced a biosphere reshaping program. In 2176, the World Union of Nations announced its dissolution. The information that Sun Jian said must have something to do with this. But what Jiang Chen knew was still very little. Jiang Chen also asked if Lin Ling could communicate with the mother worm. According to Lin Ling, it was a little difficult. It seemed that it could communicate with the mind. But she was very against communicating. Jiang Chen asked Lin Ling to learn to communicate with the mother worm. Meanwhile, he would take Lin Ling to his base. They were already wasting time. It looked like Jiang Chen's team was worried. Lin Ling had just remembered something important. She immediately looked for something on the table over there. She found a tool and showed it to Jiang Chen. But Jiang Chen looked annoyed. If it had anything to do with artificial intelligence, he asked Lin Ling not to bring it. Lin Ling explained that this had nothing to do with artificial intelligence. She asked if Jiang Chen had heard of the Garden of Eden project. Jiang Chen said he didn't know about it. He thinks this girl has a lot of funny ideas. The Garden of Eden project is a side project of the Planetary Redevelopment Plan. It will replace the original plan of changing the Earth by building a local biosphere. Then this side project applied to the highest priority interstellar colonization plan. Jiang Chen asked Lin Ling to explain the point. Simply put, this is to build a stable and balanced artificial biosphere, without the need for substance exchange with the external environment. Forget the irradiated environment, Jiang Chen can even see the greenery of the Earth from Mars. All the data from the Garden of Eden project, Lin Ling has long wanted to see it. Her father always locked it in the database. For other people, this might be a good thing. But for Fishbone, this could be a very bad thing. In other words, they got a plant? Of course, is there anything that can't be grown on planet Earth? Lin Ling says Jiang Chen must be astonished by their advanced technology. Lin Ling asks Jiang Chen to leave soon because she can't wait to borrow the computer to look at the database. If the desert becomes fertile, then what do they need Jiang Chen for? Originally, Jiang Chen was going to build a foundation for future food shortages. Every step taken relied on this advantage to build the Fishbone base. If this girl's technology falls into someone else's hands, best case scenario, her power is challenged. Worst case scenario, Jiang Chen's loved ones will be enslaved. Plus the brood that's in Lin Ling's body. Can it really be limited? No matter what Jiang Chen thinks, Lin Ling's existence is a huge threat. Lin Ling asked Jiang Chen to leave. Doesn't Jiang Chen want to see Lin Ling's technology? Jiang Chen immediately pointed his gun at Lin Ling, and he said if he changed his mind. Then there was a gunshot. Finally, they left the place. Lin Ling introduced herself as Lin Ling, a precious cyborg. Thank you, lowly live form. Sun Jian just stares at Lin Ling in silence and looks annoyed. Afraid of Sun Jiao, Lin Ling hid behind Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen said, "Don't take this the wrong way, she was their prisoner." Sun Jiao doesn't understand what Jiang Chen means by captive. Then Jiang Chen whispered to Sun Jiao. He explained that Lin Ling was a woman held in an underground laboratory by the AI. She is the reason they are here, or just think that the bacteria was created by AI. When Jiang Chen said she was a prisoner, it was just to make fun of her. This little woman has such a bad temper, she can cause a scene. With an annoyed face, Sun Jiao said, "So you're saying that no matter what I do, I can bully her?" Lin Ling was very scared of Sun Jiao. She asked what Sun Jiao wanted to do to her. Lin Ling almost forgot the promise she made before she went out. In the end, she was still soft. From now on, she would have to keep an eye on him. Jiang Chen told Sun Jiao that they should be nice to Lin Ling, but don't let her out of the villa. Sun Jiao also looks upset because it looks like Jiang Chen got another woman. Jiang Chen Pub asks Sun Jiao to come closer because he has something else to say. The thing Lin Ling brought was the Garden of Eden project. He heard that it can restore the land. Then wouldn't Jiang Chen's advantage as a time traveler be lost? This woman's existence is not as easy to handle as an ordinary survivor. Sun Jiao asked if Jiang Chen needed to take care of her. Jiang Chen said there was no need. As usual, Sun Jiao was a frightening woman to Jiang Chen. He feared that she would soon run into danger in the outside world, especially with the lack of high-tech talent at the headquarters. With an annoyed face, Sun Jiao finally knew that Jiang Chen still wanted to take care of her. They would raise him when the time came. He wouldn't dare run away, even if he tried. Sun Jiao was confused, taking something from nowhere from this man. He shouted to Lin Ling. If she dared to run away, Sun Jiao wouldn't let her go. Jiang Chen felt that his next opponent would be Sun Jiao. After escaping from Intel, Jiang Chen had to face him. It's really like escaping from the wolf's den and entering the tiger's cage. It's time for us to go home. Sun Jiao looked happy that they could finally go home. Then Sun Jiao tied Lin Ling up with a rope. But Lin Ling immediately cried she didn't want to be tied. And she called Sun Jiao a lowlife and asked him to untie her. She says that Sun Jiao can't bind her freedom. She asked why Sun Jiao was tying her up. She asked Sun Jiao to let her go right now. She didn't want to be compared to this trash. Sun Jiao said that there would be no one to take care of her. Isn't this the trash that Lin Ling wanted to bring? But Lin Ling was just silent and scared to see Sun Jiao. Jiang Chen tried to explain. She tried to bring this, but it wasn't trash. Before leaving the place, Lin Ling searched for the items she wanted to take with her. UAV hummingbird production equipment, complete experimental equipment from XD1, biological genetic analysis system, portable computer. Less important were her favorite bear biscuits. That was the first thing Lin Ling would bring, the rest they could get later. Jiang Chen thought all Lin Ling needed was a charger, but he brought so much stuff instead. Lin Ling Pudge said not to confuse her with a lowly machine creature. Her rank was higher than anyone else's. Jiang Chen also understood it. A high-level cyborg who can't even carry his own things. It turned out that the goods Lin Ling wanted to carry were 3 tons. With power armor, it shouldn't be a problem. The remaining power is only 13%. No need to wait, then Jiang Chen ordered to leave immediately. Activate the power unit, increase the power. Hold on tight, we're leaving. Lin Ling continued to babble along the way. Then Sun Jiao told Lin Ling to be quiet. If she couldn't be quiet, Sun Jiao would drop Lin Ling off and tell her to walk to the base by herself. Lin Ling immediately shut up and thought that arguing with Sun Jiao was useless. Finally, they left the place.